Now, as I told you, you must create one back copy of the background layer. Am I correct? So what must you do? Control J, okay, Control J, and then you have layer 1, right? Okay, next I'm going to turn off my background layer. So I have a safe background layer. Now, the first thing, let's observe the chef image first. Now, which is the last layer? Which is the bottom layer? Can you refer to page 75? Which will be the bottom layer? No, the year. Okay, so in that case, if you want, you can go by sequence. But I know that we are not so perfect. Sometimes we cannot analyze what is the correct order, right? Okay, so it's okay because later I'll show you what is how can you order that. Now let's do the face first. Okay, can we use our elliptical marquee, but make sure there's no feather. Okay, and then I'm using the first icon, right? Now, if your feather is like 1000 pixels or 200 pixels, of course you will have some warning. Okay, they will say nothing being selected. Okay, now I'm going to draw this. Okay, I don't want to bother about the space, everything. I just want to have some extra space. So later I can use measure 1 to remove away from it. Okay, what must I do next? Control J. Okay, now I want to turn off this just to ensure I get the correct picture. Now I'm going to rename this as what? Face. Okay, before I proceed to the next step, what must we do to remove the? Okay, so I use measure 1 and then, okay, this time I use 32. Okay, I use 32 tolerance. Now I'm going to pick on the white area and press the delete button. Okay, now can I proceed to the next step? No, what must you do? Huh? No, what must I do now? I'm done with the selection. Correct. Must deselect. Control D. Okay. Now let's go back to your original layer. Okay, maybe I put this as raw, so it's easier to be taught. Now make sure you always go back to the raw layer before you Control J again. Now next item. Okay, what is the item that you think that the most easier one? Just that we can use the measure 1 layer to measure 1 method to remove. Okay, which one? The eyeball maybe. Okay. Okay, so let's do the elliptical again. Okay, then I'm going to highlight this part. Okay, what can you press? Control J again, right? Okay, now I turn off this. Okay, double click eyeball. Is it this one? Eyeball, is it? Can okay. Now let's move this. I'm using the move tool. Try to move here, but cannot see anything, right? Why is it so? Now, which is the top layer? Face. So naturally, it's actually blocking your eyeball. Okay. So in this case, you need to move up. Click your layer, click and hold, and drag to the top layer. Do you see one line? Okay. Then you let go. Okay. But we have extra area, right, which is a white area. Am I correct? So how to remove? Okay. Now in this case, right, I will not use the measure 1 tool because do you realize that there's one shading here? So I'll just use the elliptical marquee. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. Now, still remember how to create perfect circle? Hold down Shift, then you draw something like this. Now, how to move? Spacebar to move. Okay. Then this is still too big, right? So how? I just move in a little bit. Okay. Now, if you draw something like this, how to move? Okay. Make sure you always at the first icon. Then you move inside. You place your cursor here. You click and drag your selections. That's how you move it. Or you can use your up arrow or down arrow to move it also. Okay. Now, I do not need the white area. Am I correct? Okay. If I'm going to press delete, is that correct? So how can I do it to remove? Select inverse, which is right click, select inverse, or you can use Control Shift I. Okay, can we do that? Right click, select inverse. Now can I remove? When I select inverse, do you see all the edges? They have matching ends. So now when I go and remove, right, everything will be gone from the outside area. Okay. Okay. What must I do next? Deselect. Thank you very much. Okay. Now I want to copy another thing, right? Now for eyeball, how many eyeball you have here? Okay. So how can you duplicate? Okay. There are a lot of methods, but first of all, can I ask you, am I at the correct tool? So go back to move to when you're not using anything. Okay. Now, right now you have this over here, right? How can I duplicate to here? Okay. There are many things, many methods. You can use edit, copy, and paste. Okay. Or you can use your layer via copy. Okay. Also same. But I'm going to introduce you another shortcut, which is your alternate. Do you see when you hold down alternate, it becomes 2 arrows? Now hold down alternate, click and drag another one. Okay. You can hold down shift also to make it align. Okay. Do you see eyeball copy come out already? Okay. Now next one, the carrot, am I correct? So which layer must I turn on again? Raw layer. Okay, so make sure you click on raw layer. Now let's look at the carrot part, okay, which is over here, this one, right? Okay, to save time, I can just hold down shift and select nicely from the within. Okay. Okay, it's okay. I will not take the entire thing because I don't want to erase off the white area. Okay. Okay, now what must I do? Control J. Okay. So what do you call this? Okay. Make sure you change the move to and then put over here, but still nothing appear. Why? Yes. So you need to put above the face but below the eyeball. Okay. Okay. How to duplicate? Okay. Let me rename this first. What should I call this? Can I put carrot? And okay. Now, how can I duplicate again? Hold down. Hold down what key? Alternate and then hold down shift also if you want to align. Okay. Okay. Now you have done two part, right? Okay. What are the next things that we can use? Which is the easier one? Let's settle with the easier one. Which one? This one? Kiwi? Okay, can. Okay, I'm going to zoom in to here. Okay, again, we can use which one? Elliptical marquee also. Now, if you do not want to use this, right? Okay, you can also use Magic Wand. Okay, let me show you. Okay. Okay, but is my selection correct here? Which one should be the active layer? Wrong. Okay, so now I press Ctrl J, and then I'll just rename this as mouth. Am I correct? Okay. Okay. Since I already know that this mouth has to be above the face layer, so I can just drag above it. Now you can use shortcut key to change the order. Okay. Let me share with you. You can use Control Shift. Okay. Sorry. Control square brackets. Okay. Remember the key that we increase our brush size, the square bracket left and right. Okay, right is to bring up. Okay, left is to bring down. You see that? Control left or right square bracket. Okay, now what happens if you need to move the layer all the way to the top? Okay, Control Shift and then right square bracket. You see that? Okay, one is to send to back, one is to send to top. I'll repeat this. If you want to take down, you can write down the shortcut key. Okay, Control square bracket. Okay, Control. Okay, right square bracket is to bring up layer. You see that? Control left square bracket is to bring down layer. Okay. Now to send to the top layer, Control Shift right square bracket. Okay, whereas for left it will send to back. Now I have my mouth. Okay, maybe I just put here. Now let's try to use the measure 1 tool. Okay, let's try to do this. I use measure 1, right? Okay. Then I select this part. Okay, how to add to selections? Still remember? Hold down Shift and then click once. Click once. Okay, hold down Shift. Okay, also OK. Okay, you see that? So I just remove this, press delete button or backspace. Okay, next you must Control D select, right? Okay, then I press Control 0. Okay, move. I'm going to move this to here, right? Okay. Okay. Okay, what should be the next thing? Which one? Eyebrow, huh? Okay, can. Eyebrow is also very simple. Now this one should be very easy, right? You can use same thing your marquee. Okay, you highlight this and then Control J, right? Okay, now I'll just rename this as how to spell eyebrow. Is that correct? Okay. Okay. Again, I bring up. Okay. Then I will use measure 1 tool to remove. Okay. Then I will use the move tool to put it here. But we have another one which is flip, right? So in this case, you need to use a transform tool. Okay, since we are at the transform tool, I'll explain to you also. Now, right now, I have one issue here. Do you see that my eyeball and the carrot, they are actually overlapping the thing they're blocking, right? How can I quickly select all these 4 items without selecting the face so I can shift these 4 items down? Okay, now this has got to do with your move tool already. Can you click on your move tool first? Now, do you have one option called auto select? Okay, can you check the auto select, turn on the auto select, turn on auto select, and then your option here, you have either group or layer, am I correct? Can you change to layer? Do you see a group and layer? Change to layer. Okay, now with this auto select being turned on, right, now you can click and drag. Okay, okay, let me change to group first. Okay, let me see your auto select. Yours is CC also. Okay. Now, is your auto select turned on already? Auto select on, right? And then have you chose layer instead of group? Then, okay, now I'm going to show you how you can use the drag the marquee. Okay, because right now I want to highlight these two, right? Okay, but I do not want to select the face layer. Okay, now let's try to do this together. I'm going to put your cursor outside a bit from here. Okay, if your screen is like that, you cannot select from outside, right? You might want to reduce your window and then, okay, make sure you have some space here. Okay, now click and hold and drag one marquee. Do you see that? I repeat, okay, don't select anything first. Put your cursor outside here. Click and drag one marquee across. Now, do you see that my selection include all the things that I cover now? Okay. But is this what we wanted? I only want the eyeball and the carrot, am I correct? So what do you need to do to deselect the rest of the layers? Okay, you just need to hold down Control to deselect face, deselect raw layer. Okay, the rest, is that what I wanted? Okay, now you can use your down arrow to shift them down. Okay, I selected the eyebrow also, so I shouldn't select the eyebrow. Now you can use your down key, okay, to move down your arrow. Okay, or you can put your cursor here to drag them. Do you see that? Okay, either way also fine. Okay. Now this is one method, but personally I don't really like this because whenever you turn your auto select, right, you will try to act very smart. You see that whenever I click, it will go and select the layer. When you have a few layers, it's fine, manageable. But if you have too many layers, sometimes this can it can be very irritating. Okay, so in this case, can we turn off the auto select? Turn on auto select. Now, since we have a few layers here, how can I quicken up my selections? Okay, what you can do is, first of all, you can right click on the layer that you want. For example, now I want to select eyeball, right? I just need to place my cursor on top of the eyeball and right click. Do you see I have the layer named? Okay, so whenever, if for example I want to select carrot, I just click on carrot. Do you see I actually jump to carrot? So you can right click, eyeball copy, it will jump to eyeball copy. Now you know why I asked you to rename your layer already. Okay, now this is still not very friendly. I'm going to show you another method. Okay, you can right click. Okay, I just repeat for you. You can right click and select the layer that you wanted. Okay, besides this, what you can do is make sure your auto select is off, and then your group or layer, make sure your layer is selected. Okay, not group. Now if I want to select the eyebrow, okay, I can, of course, like what Eddie said, just click here and it will settle the thing. But can I ask you, have 100 over layers? Are you going to select? Are you going to scroll up and down and find? No, right? So in that case, I'm going to, okay, I go to mouse first. Now I want to select eyebrow, right? What you need to do is hold down Control and click on your eyebrow. You'll jump quickly to that particular layer. Okay, this only works when your auto select is turned off. Okay, this is much convenient and also more user friendly because you can select the thing that you want compared to auto select. Okay, hold down Control and then click on whichever item that you wanted. You see that? Okay. Now, how can I duplicate here? Hold down Alternate and then hold down Shift to move here. Now, I'm going to tell you the next thing, which is your free transform. Okay, it's good that you all follow because free transform we have not covered yet. I'll talk about it now. Okay. Okay, we'll continue from here. Now, this eyebrow copy, right now it's not flip. Am I correct? Now, what you can do is you can actually go to Edit, Transform, and Flip Horizontal. Okay, but this is quite troublesome, so I would like to introduce the shortcut. The shortcut which will be Control T. Can you hold on? Press Control T. It stands for Free Transform. Control T. This one also useful, so you might want to write down the shortcut. Control T. because most of the time you'll be dealing with transformations when it comes to image editing. Okay, now you can easily right click and then you have more options to do. Okay, right now we want flip horizontal, right? Okay, then you will flip. Now do you notice that whenever you have this free transform on, you cannot do any other thing? Do you see that? This is like your crop tool. Okay, remember your crop tool, you also cannot do anything, am I correct? Okay, now, besides that, do you see that there are a lot of handles also, like the box? This is same like your crop tool. You must press enter to confirm it, but don't press enter first. Huh? The reason being is because, okay, now, whenever you use a free transform, right, please bear in mind that, remember I told you that from big image, you can go to small image, no problem, right? But do not do it too many times because eventually you will spoil your pixel also. That's why when you do transformation, it's best that you go and think properly. Do you need to rotate or not? If you need to do other things, please settle it first before you press enter for once. Okay. Although after you press enter, you still can do transformation, but slowly your pixel will lose the quality already. Okay. So in this case, can we try different transformations? Okay. Now right click. Okay, let's try to use scale. This is for you to enlarge or scale down. But do you think it looks nice when you distort your picture? No, right? So how can I revert back? No, right now I have not confirmed anything yet. Okay, so I can just press the no entry sign, or I can just use the escape button. It will revert back to your original setting. Do you see that? Now, how to turn on the free transform? Control T. Okay, now right click. Let's try the other one. Rotate is actually like that. Okay, so this is no problem, right? As you can see, as I rotate this, do you see the values here also change? So if you want to be specific, I want to rotate by 45 degrees. You can type it here. Okay. Now, just now I mentioned about the scaling, right? Do you see you also have 100% width, 100% height? You can also change the scale percentage. For example, I want to have 80 width. This is actually distorting the width. Do you see that? Because my height is still 100%. So if you do not want to distort your thing, right, you might want to consider to turn on this link icon. It will make your proportions constrained. Okay? Remember, I asked you to hold down shift when you draw the circle. It's the same thing over here. So when you use, okay, right now I right click again, I use scale. When I hold down shift, do you see that it's actually proportional being scaled? Okay? This is for scaling and rotating. Now, scale is actually something like your distort. You see it? Now you know how to change your angle of your item already. You can also have perspective. Okay, you see it? But when you do this, right, please make sure you do not scale it too much, because when you do the distorting, right, if you do too much time also, it will look very blur also. Okay. Okay. Now if I right click again, distort. Okay, distort is any point of the circle of the handle you can use also. You see that? I can change the end. But now let's experiment this before I go to the next one. If I press the tick, if I click on this tick or I press enter, now can you compare the sharpness of original and the edited one? Do you see it become pixelated? Okay. Now in this case, I still can rescue back my quality by Control Z. Okay, it will give you the original transformation. Now Control T again. I'm going to right click. Do you see this? Remember I told you for my classes photo for girls, their skirt always revealing, so I cover back, right? Okay, this is something like the effect. I use warp. Do you see that? Do you see the effect? So I'm just going to mark up one area of their skirt and then I'll cover, and then I'll use this warp to cover their whatever is not supposed to be seen. Okay, but having do this, right, it will distort the pixel. Do you see that? Especially this part. You see it become very blur? Okay. It's nice effect, but then it's very blur. Okay, I'll undo once. So now I'm going to right click, okay, and then flip horizontal. Okay, this rotate I think you all know, right? I don't have to explain. Huh? Okay, then you can just press enter to confirm. Okay. Okay, next one will be your nose. I'll do the nose. Okay. Now, how can I quickly go back to here? Hold down Control and click. Then you will jump to raw layer. Okay. Hold down Control and then click on the nose. You will jump to raw layer. Hold down Control. You must press enter first if you're in the transformation mode. Okay. Hold down Control. Not drag. Hold down Control and then click. Click once. Okay. Okay. Now I'm going to use my rectangular and highlight this part. Okay. Okay. I'm going to Control J, right? Okay. Control J. Now this is nose, right? Okay. Again, is the order correct? No, right? So I'm going to bring up a bit. Then I'll paste here. Okay. Now let's zoom into this part. Okay, this one you can use quick selection, no problem. Or if you want, you can use the module 1 also. Okay, let's try module 1. Okay. You see that I use module 1 is faster. Okay. Okay, so now I can press the delete button. Okay, I can still click on this to remove. Click on this to remove. Okay. Done. Now I open up my raw. Okay, what are the next thing that I should do? Maybe the bow tie. Okay. Okay. Now I'm going to click on the bow tie here. What must you press? Control. Okay. Then I can zoom into this part. Okay. Again, I'll use the marquee to extract out first. Okay. Control J. Okay. I rename this. Just put tie. Huh? Okay. Okay. Control 0. I bring into here. Okay. Then I hold down this. I use the move tool to move here. Okay. Now, can I hide this temporarily? Can, right? Just turn off the mouth. Okay. And then over here. Now let's try the module 1. I don't think it will work so well. You see that? So in this case, I'm going to use a combination of a few tools. Okay. Now you see this is too much already. So I'm going to undo once. Over here I use 16. Let's try. Okay. Then I'll add on a little bit. Do you see it's better? Okay. It doesn't affect so much. Then I use. Okay. Now, is that okay now? Okay. Not okay, right? Because over here, this is a shadow. So in this case, okay, let me remove this first. Okay. Then I will use the polygonal lasso and go and beautify it. Okay. Or if you want, you can use a magnetic tool. Also can, no problem. Okay. Then call back your mouth. Okay. And then your tie, I'll put here. Now call back your raw file, raw layer. Now next one, I will do the chair head. Okay. Yeah. Which is this? Is this cabbage or mushroom? Mushroom. Okay. Okay. So now I'm going to extract out this again. Same thing. Do you see? I actually use the same method. Okay. Because I find this is the quickest method to do. Okay. Okay. Then I'm going to put here. Okay. This one I'll just put. Okay. Okay. I put here. Okay. Let's try module 1 again. Now you know why I say I'm a very lazy person. Okay. Or let's try the quick selections. It's also okay. You see that? Now it's not okay. Right? So how to remove? I use module 1 and then I'm going to erase. You see that? So flexible am I? You can use any tool to use the selection, you see that? Okay. Now if I press delete, is that what I wanted? So must select inverse. Okay. Make sure you go back to your marquee, any marquee or lasso or your quick selection, it's fine. Okay. Select inverse, then remove. Okay. Okay, I'm going to put behind the face. Okay, something like that. Okay, lastly is the ears, right? Okay, so I'm going to click here. Okay, the ear they actually remove some part, right? Am I correct? Okay. Okay, let's try to use this Magic Wand tool. Okay, this is difficult. Let's try quick selections. Okay, done. Quick selection. Okay, fast, right? Okay, now Control J. Okay. Okay, here. Here is behind the face, right? Okay. Okay, so now I use Move tool and shift to here. Okay, how to rotate now? Control T, and then when you put your cursor outside, do you see there's two-way curve arrow? Okay, you can hold down Shift to rotate like this. Okay, if you do not hold down Shift, it will not be rotated at 15 degrees. You see that? Do you see the values? They are added by 15. Okay, then I can shift here. Okay, can I leave it like this? Can? Sure. Press enter. Okay. Now duplicate, right? Hold down alternate. Move here. Okay. How to transform? Control T. Right click. Flip horizontal. Okay. And then I shift a little bit. Am I correct? But do you see that some of the thing is not aligned nicely? The nose, the mouth, the thigh, they are not centralized, right? So how can I centralize them? Okay. Now I want you to click on the face first, the face layer. Hold down Control, click on the face. Okay. Now I want to select more than one layer, so I need to hold down Shift, right? So can you hold down Control and then Shift? Hold down Control and Shift. Click on your nose. Click on your mouth. Do you see that it has been selected? Then click on the thigh also. Okay. Now whenever you select more than two layers, you realize that all these two has become activated. Now you can align, use a software to align for you. You don't have to manually align. Do you see this? Okay, this is to align. Okay, I repeat. Now can you hold down Control, click on the face first, okay, and then hold down Shift also. Your Control don't let go. Okay, Control and Shift don't let go. Then click on your nose, click on the mouth, click on the thigh. Because I want them to align centralized. Okay. Now, whenever you selected two layers and above, you will see all these options comes alive. Previously, you never see them in action, right? Okay. Now, can you click on this? This is to align horizontal. You see that? Click once. Do you see that everything will be shifted together? Okay. I repeat. Have you selected these four layers? Your mouth, your nose, your thigh, and your face. Done? Okay, make sure you use the Move tool, which is this tool. Do you see this icon here? It's to align horizontal centers. Okay? Okay, can you click once? You realize that all your thing will be centralized now. Okay? Now, we are not done yet. I want to show you more with the layers function now. Now, basically, we have already completed what they asked us to do, right? Now, I'm going to make use of this to tell you more with the layer. Okay? Now, do you realize that whenever I need to select something, I will always select my face, okay, or my raw layer, which is very irritating because whenever I work on other things, I don't want them to be selected. Am I correct? So with that, you can actually lock your face layer or your raw layer so they will not be edited or will not be moved. Okay, can we go to your face layer? Do you see this lock icon here? The last icon, do you see the lock icon? Okay, now this is to lock everything. Okay, lock the transparent, lock the position, lock from being edited. Okay, can we click once to lock? Okay. Once you have activated this, you should see one lock icon here. Now, if you move your cursor here, can you try to use your brush tool now? Try to use brush tool. And you move inside here, do you see no entry sign? If you try to paint something, they will tell you cannot edit because it's locked. Okay, so you can press escape. Now let's try to move it. Can you use your move tool, which is your V? Now can you try to shift them? Can you move? Cannot move also. Okay, so when you use this, it's really lock everything. You cannot do anything. Okay, now can we unlock them by clicking on this lock icon? Okay, now let's look at the other one, which is your positions. Do you see this four-ways icon? This is to lock the positions. However, you still can do modifications. Can we try to click on this? Do you notice the color is a bit different for the icon? Now, can you use a move tool? Try to move around. Are you able to move? No. But let's try to use a brush tool. Are you able to paint something? You still can paint something. So this is for you to lock positions. Okay. Now, next one is actually your prevent from editing. This is to prevent editing. Now, we are at the brush tool, right? Okay, can you try to do something? No, you're not supposed to destroy the pixel. Now, let's try to use a move tool. Can you move? Yes, you still can move because you didn't lock the positions. Okay, lastly, which is your transparent. Now, I want to hide all other layers except for face layer. This is how you do it. Can you right click, put your cursor here, right click, do you see show or hide all other layers? Click on that once. It will show all other layers except your face layer. How to call back? Right click again, show hide all other layers. Okay, this is useful when you have too many layers. Okay, now what is the shortcut key for this? Hold down Control, hold down Alternate, click on the eyes. I repeat, hold down Control, hold down Alternate, click on the eyes. But this is not very perfect because, for example, now if I hide everything, I only left my face, right? Now, if I want to see what is the carrot, if I'm going to turn on this, later when I try to use a show all other layers, right, it will only show me these two layers. It will based on your previous selection, your visibility. Okay, now let's try to turn on your carrot. Okay, now I have only two layers open, am I correct? Now, can you try to right click and show hide all other layers? Okay, now my face is hidden, am I correct? Now, can you right click again, show hide all other layers? Everything will be shown. Okay, but if you go and remove certain layers, for example like this, okay, do you see that? Nothing appears except for those I have already turned on. Right now, all other layers cannot be shown already. They only remember your previous set of layers. Okay. Now, how can you quickly toggle all the layers? Okay. What you can do is click and drag down all the way and let go. Yes. Hold down your mouse. Same thing to hide the layers. You see that? Click and drag. Okay. After that, you can right click and show and hide all other layers. Okay, then turn on this. Now, if there are some layers that you need to make a label, for example, this is very important label, what you can do, okay, this face layer I want to take note, I can actually right click and put a color to it. Do you see that? Red color. Okay, this is for the thumbnail. Now, I'm going to hide other layers first. Can you show hide all other layers? Now, have you locked the transparent? Do you click on this first icon here? Now this is to lock the transparency. Can I ask you where is the pixels now? It's only this part, right? Am I correct? Now let's try to move it. You still can move, right? Okay. Yeah, undo first. Huh? Now let's try to use the brush tool. Can you try to paint something on the transparent? Is there anything coming up? Because you are locking which one? Transparency. Okay. But if you try to paint within the pixels, you still can paint. You see that? It will never go out of the transparent area. Okay. This might be good for coloring. Okay, for coloring if you use this to color. Okay. Now how can I quickly call back all the layers? How? Okay. Right click, show and hide all other layers. Okay. Now this eyebrow and eyeball, right? They actually should be one layer. Am I correct? Because they are seeing the same thing. But just now we didn't merge them because we still need to position nicely first. Now we already have the position done, right? Okay, make sure you go to move to first. Okay, I'm going to select these two layers, which is your eyebrow, copy an eyebrow. Okay, there are too many ways to merge. Okay, I'm going to show you one by one. You choose which is your comfortable method. Okay, first of all, you can right click. Do you see merge layers? This is one. Okay, one of it. Secondly, you can go to your launcher here. Do you see merge layer? Same thing. Okay. Thirdly, you can go to layer, menu here. Do you see merge layer? Fourth. Okay. Fifth, you can use Ctrl E to merge layer. Okay, I don't know why they got so many methods. Okay, tell me why. Okay. Okay, there's a bit different when you use merge layer and merge visible. Okay, now just now I use merge layers, right? You see that? Now, do you notice they actually use which is the name that they adopt? The top layer name. Okay, when you use this. Okay, but when you use merge visible, right? Okay, maybe I hide these two layers first. Okay, now can you hide the raw layer and background layer first? Then can you click on this? Do you see merge visible? Okay, do you see merge visible? Okay, how to go to here is actually click on this and then click here, merge visible. Do you have it? Okay, now can we click once? Do you see that now all our individual layers has been merged except for raw and background? But is this good or not? Okay, depending. Right now this is working layer fast, right? So it's not good. Okay, okay, can we undo once? Okay, what if you need to have one layer which consists of everything of this? Are you going to select one by one and merge? You can do so by click on this, the top layer, hold down shift, click on the ear layer, okay? Then you can merge them, which is Ctrl E, then you'll get the merge visible effect. But remember I told you I want to maintain all my layers, right? So I want to create one duplicate of all of this, okay, but into one layer. Sadly, there's no shortcut, there's no menu from here, and also from here there's no shortcut. Okay, you cannot find from here. So this one you have to use keyboard shortcuts, which I will call it as merge composite. You might want to write down, okay, merge composite. Okay, I type for you. You see that? Okay. Can see, boss? Okay. Now, make sure you hold down Control, Alternate, Shift, E. I repeat, Control, Alternate, Shift, E. But your selection has to be at the top layer. You see where is my active layer? Eyebrow copy, the first layer. Now you hold down Control, Alternate, Shift, E. Do you see layer 1 being created? And then it's it consists of all my layers. Am I correct? Okay, this is like giving birth to another layers. Okay. Now, right now I already have one layer like this, right? You see if I move out, you see that? Now, as our layer increasing, sometimes I find it's very difficult to handle like this, very difficult to organize. So in this case, do you think it's a good idea for us to group all these layers together? Okay, so can you highlight all these individual layers? Okay, the shortcut key will be Control G to group, or you can use right click, okay, group from layers, okay, group from layers. You can give it a name, okay, I'm not going to give it a name. Do you see all has been gathered into a folder, okay? You can expand and collapse this folder, this group, okay? Now do you see the picture where I asked you to change this from group to layer? Just now we didn't use any group, right? Okay, now if you need to select group, make sure you change back to group. Otherwise, do you see when I use layer, right? When I hold down Control and I click on this, it will jump inside to my layer. Do you see that? Okay, but this is not what I wanted, because right now I want to highlight select the entire group to move. So in that case, you need to change this back to group. Then if you click once, it will select your group. Do you see that? Okay, I undo first. But if you need to select individually layer, make sure you change this to layer. Or you can also right click. You see that? Remember this right click? It's up to you, your preference. If you like to use right click, please use it. Okay? Right click sometimes can be useful, especially when you have too many layers. You can see what is the layer near to your cursor. Okay? Now, you have grouped them, right? How to ungroup? Right click, ungroup layers. Okay? You can also, all these layers are, you want to group them, right? Drag and drop to this group folder. Do you see that? Drag and drop to this group folder. Okay? To group them. Okay? To group. But if you need to ungroup, you need to right click and ungroup layers. Okay? Delete layer, do you need me to go through? Just click one and then press the delete button or backspace. Okay, or if you don't trust me, you can right click and delete layer. Okay, okay, let's group this. Okay, I'm going to group this. Okay, okay, how about creating new layer? Remember I told you this icon yesterday? Okay, this is for you to create one new layer. But do you see they ask you anything? No. If you want to rename, you can actually use the okay, layer, new layer from here. Okay, the shortcut key will be Control Shift N. Do you see that? They will ask you. Okay, then you can type in your name. Okay, you can also set your blending mode from here, but usually we don't set it here because you cannot see the effects. Okay, so when you click this, you see it's become one new layer. Okay, now what is the shortcut key to create a new layer? Okay, undo once first. Okay, Control Alternate N, Control Alternate Shift N. N for Norway. Okay, Control Alternate Shift N. Okay, can you remove this layer by pressing the backspace or delete button? Okay. Now there's a difference between delete pixels and delete layer. What I meant by that is, do you have this layer 1 which consists of the entire thing? Do you have this? Now, if I ask you to remove only this content, but I want to reserve my layer 1, what will you do? I repeat my questions. Can you delete the pixel but do not remove the layer 1? How are you going to do it? Control T and then Control T and delete. How to delete? Cannot delete. Okay, remember your selection tool? Remember our select inverse and then we delete, right? So for this, how are you going to delete?
Select the blank space.
But I want to remove the chat.
Select blank space, inverse, then delete.
Okay, but why so troublesome? Okay, what you can do is, since I want to remove everything in this layer, am I correct? Okay, of course you still can use your marquee tool and then select this and then remove, press this, right? Okay, but you can also press Ctrl A to select the entire layer. Then you go and press delete. Do you see your layer 1 still there? Okay, this is to delete the pixels but preserve your layer. Okay, I repeat. Okay. Okay, what you can do is you use Ctrl A, or if you can remember the shortcut, use Select All. You see that? Select All. Do you see the marching ends? Okay, now can you press delete button or backspace? Yes. Is your layer 1 gone? Still there, right? Okay. Okay. Let's undo once, call back our thing. Okay. Now, remember I told you that before you send for printer, you should rightfully do what? All of you. Okay, now we will learn the flattening. Okay, just now we learn how to merge, right? Then you will ask me, why can't we just merge? Why must we flatten? Okay, now if you have the transparency concern, for example, you want to maintain the transparency, you might want to merge them, okay, rather than flatten. Because when you flatten, okay, this is what you will get. Okay, you all don't do first, just see how I do it. Now I leave these two blank and turn off. I will use the flatten image here. Okay, they will ask you, do you want to discard hidden layers? Okay, yes, because we're not using anymore. So now when you click OK, do you see you have the white color background? Now remember I told you whenever you see the lock icon and then the background, that means this is considered as one single flattened layer. It's just equivalent to your JPEG. Okay, so now if I save JPEG, right, they won't prompt me to save as PSD because is there any layer? Only one layer. Okay, if I undo once, in this case, if I want to preserve the transparency, what will I do is, okay, I need to remove these two layers first, okay, or if you don't want, it's also fine. Now I'm going to click this and click this. Remember your merge visible, or you can use your merge layer, it's also fine. Right now you have how many layers? Yes. Okay, so you can submit this to your client. Of course, you might need to save. Okay, maybe you do this together, can? Okay, I do first. Do you have your layer 1? Okay, have. Now, I'm going to save this for TIFF file. Okay, can we go to File, Save As? File, Save As. Okay, maybe you should save as PSD first. Remember I told you before, you always flatten. Make sure you save your working files. Okay, now, okay, can you rename? Okay, chat editor. I put editor. Okay, up to you. Whatever name you want. Okay, make sure your format is Photoshop. Otherwise, your working layer is gone. Okay, can we click Save now? Okay, click OK. Now, I want to save for TIFF now, right? You have the choice. Either you do the merging first or you don't do merging. It's fine. Okay, now I want to go to File, go to Save As. Okay. Have you all saved your PSD file? Save ready? Okay. Now, format, can you change to TIFF? Okay, click on TIFF. Now, click Save. But do you see this option? Remember I told you this option yesterday? Okay, because right now, do we have unwanted layers or not? Remember our raw layer and background layer? Are they necessary? No, right? They are no longer in it. So we can discard and then we can save a copy. But make sure you see, I turn on my Save Transparency. Okay, now can you click OK? Now it has, you will still see this as PSD. If you go to your folder, okay, do you see I have another TIFF? Okay, and then when I space, okay. Now in Mac you can preview with transparent, but normal PC you cannot see this transparent. Okay. If I open this in Photoshop, okay, I go to File, Open Recent, TIFF. Okay, Open Recent don't have. I open TIFF file. Okay. Do you see that you only have one layer? Okay. The reason why we want to discard those unwanted layers is because we want to reduce the file size. Okay. Now, if you decided to do the merging, because you need to convert color, am I correct? Okay, just now we didn't consider the color conversions. Now, if you want to convert color, okay, what you can do is you shift and then you merge them, then you do the color conversions. Okay, but what if you do not need any transparent? This is when you will use a flattened image. Okay, and then you should give this file to the printer to print. Okay, can? But remember to save the flattened file as another name. Huh? Okay. So, okay, I'm going to close this. Okay, I do not want to save because if I save this, my working layers are gone. Okay.